I'm at the gravesite of Clyde Barrow of Bonnie and Clyde, and as you can see, people still come out here regularly and leave alcohol, and there's actually a bullet here that somebody left. But I think even Clyde himself would be surprised at how famous he got after his death. In reality, they were just kids who got incredibly lucky on a 2-year crime spree, and we're still talking about them 80 plus years later. I think even Clyde himself would be surprised, and he's buried here with his brother and other members of the Barrow family. And yeah, it's just amazing that the legend of Bonnie and Clyde still live to this day, and people obviously care about the story and make a point to come out and visit. I think that's pretty incredible. So this is where the famous Clyde Barrow, the leader of the Barrow gang, is buried. There it is, Clyde Barrow, the leader of the Barrow gang. It's kind of faded. Clyde Barrow, March 22nd, 24th, 1909 to May 23rd, 1934. Gone but not forgotten. Like I said, people obviously still care. There's a bullet right there, but come out here and leave alcohol and what is that? Stuff like that. But this is not a very well taken care of cemetery. I've been told that Bonnie Parker's cemetery is a lot nicer than this, and Bonnie Parker's niece is actually trying to get her moved right there, because her wish was to be buried next to Clyde. That was her wish. So far it hasn't happened. It may not never happen, but some more Barrow family. But yeah, so if you come out here, it's just like just a street right there, and there's really no parking. I parked in this little alleyway back here, but it's not the nicest cemetery, not gonna lie. And if you come out here, so I parked on the side of the road here, and they got these bricks right here, and it leads right to Clyde's grave, so it's very easy to find. Just follow the brick path. But yeah, all right, let's go check out Bonnie Parker's grave. Hill Cemetery, where Bonnie Parker is buried here, Bonnie and Clyde. And I think it's over here somewhere. And this actually wasn't her first place of burial. She was actually buried only 2 miles away from Clyde, but they moved her here because it's much nicer, and the other place kept getting vandalized. Wow, there it is right there. There is where Bonnie Parker is buried. And just like Clyde's, there's bullets here. Bonnie Parker, as the flowers are all made sweet by the sunshine and the dew, so the old world is made brighter by the lives of folks like you. So, Bonnie Parker, Emma Parker, loving mother, 1886, 1986. I'm just trying to do the math. I haven't done my research on Emma Parker, just seeing if that's her mom. I imagine it is. I believe it is. But yeah, Bonnie Parker, this is where she's buried. It's kind of like the Denton area of Texas, sort of. And when you come here, the entrance is right over there. And you just take a left and it'll loop you around here. And once you see that building, just get out of your car, and all these shrubs right here, she's buried right behind it. Pretty crazy, just looking at, you know, Bonnie Parker, Clyde Barrow, their headstones. They're almost like mythical figures. And, you know, who would have, they would have never imagined that, you know, people would still be talking about them 80 years later. But they made that big a mark on history, whether they meant to or not. And I think one of the reasons why is because Bonnie Parker left that roll of film at one of the hideouts in Joplin, Missouri, and it showed her with the you know, the cigar in her mouth, which is funny. She never smoked cigars. She smoked cigarettes, but in that picture she's chewing on a big old cigar. And then she had the shotgun, or the pistol was the famous picture. If they never would have found those pictures, we probably would have never heard about Bonnie and Clyde. And so that's what's so fascinating. Those pictures made them, you know, folk hero pretty much, because back then, you know, the Great Depression era, people were dying, losing their homes, didn't have jobs. And here you have these two kids. They were kids, you know what they were, taking what they wanted, you know, whatever they wanted, and making their life the way they wanted it. And they became folk hero to the people of the 30s. And over 40,000 people came to Bonnie Parker's funeral. 10,000 people went to see Clyde's body laying in state in Dallas. But yeah, when you got 40,000 people, that's a lot, you know, today. But 40,000 people obviously loved Bonnie Parker, and she's really the main reason why Bonnie and Clyde became such, you know, legends, essentially, because of Bonnie Parker and just her aura. You know, there's really no evidence of her killing anybody. There's one account, but the the Barrow gang disputes that account, and they said at the time that you know, she didn't kill anybody. She could hardly walk. Her leg needed amputated because she was in a horrible accident with Clyde, and battery acid poured all down her leg, and they actually you could see her bone. And so Clyde had to carry her to a lot of these locations. So when you think of Bonnie and Clyde, you think of, you know, gun-toting, guns blazing, you know. But Bonnie was severely disabled and limping around everywhere, and was being carried. And Clyde was limping too. I haven't discussed this, but Clyde actually chopped 2 of his toes off when he was in prison, only to be released 6 days later. So by his mother, she convinced them to, you know, parole him early. But to get out of hard labor, he chopped 2 of his toes off and then was paroled 6 days later. So they weren't the smartest criminal masterminds like everybody tries to make them. But no doubt about it, they definitely left their mark on history. Bonnie Parker, October 1st, 1910, May 23rd, 1934, about 12 miles from where Clyde Barrow is buried.